First of all, happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. Top of the morning. I love this holiday. I used to cover St. Patrick's Day when I was in local news here. I worked at Channel 2, and you would go into the Central Park at 8 a.m., and already it was full of people who'd been drinking for hours in preparation for the parade.
It's like Penn Station.
Yeah.
They're coming at 7 in the morning.
Great
It's a reason to have a
parade.
party.
I love the parade.
It's like one of the most beautiful things that happens in New York City. It's one of my favorite parades.
The bagpipes.
But you can hear the bagpipes when you're going to the parade. If you're ever in New York, you can hear them so far away, and you start leading the charge. It's so exciting.
And then you hear the retching on the street corners. I used to take my kids, I would take them out of school every year. I think we have a photo of them. I'd put their little hats on and paint shamrocks on them, and then we'd go watch the parade and then take a horse and buggy ride. Yeah,
and get them out before like noon, because after noon, everything, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of Irish, listen to this. A father from Ireland has been called the world's most protective dad for a photo that he posted, posing with his 12-year-old daughter, who was about to go to her very first dance. This is the picture. Okay, the dad is the one with the shotgun, all right, that he used for skeet shooting, actually, and those two other guys with the sledgehammer and the golf club, those are her uncles. Okay, so it's meant to be very much tongue-in-cheek, but yeah. But it's cute because the father helps organize this annual dance, so he said, I know what goes on at these dances, so I just was a little bit of a warning to the boys.
I don't really see anything wrong with it. I mean, I grew up in Fort Worth. That's just another Friday night in Texas. You know what I mean? That's just what happens.
Yeah, that's the stereotype of a dad. You know, it's a funny joke. You know, the dad's gonna get the shotgun when the boyfriend shows up at the door to pick up the date.
Well, the minute we always say there's a gun picture, we always say, oh, there's a gun in the picture. I think it's a little too much.
Oh, I don't.
When did it happen? My dad's voice and a handshake meeting someone at the door was enough. He scared the living crap out of anyone that came to the door. He'd be like, I'm so-and-so, and it was just enough. Now we have to have a gun in a picture?
Yeah, my father was a medical examiner, a GP and a general practitioner and a medical examiner, and he had a book of autopsies, and people would gather. And every time a guy would come to our house for me, he would take them into the den and say, take a look at this. Oh, that a gun. I mean, just...
That's the scariest. That's like Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, my God, if I touch her the wrong way... So, anyway.
Off with their head.
Off with their head, all right.
Wow.
Your parents...
I mean, they were all topping me and stopping me from giddy up go. So I don't think you should be so protective. I remember a boy was trying to walk me to the car after church, and he was holding my Bible, and I remember my grandfather coming up going, she don't need that word, and like dragging me down. But then I was a virgin until I was 27. So sometimes you gotta let these girls get out here and explore.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that little girl happily went to the dance, and her uncle was one of the chaperones. She said to her dad, you're not coming, so she had a good time from her. Oh, yeah, exactly. All right, ladies, what would you do if you were sipping your Sunday morning coffee and you came across a photo like this in the insert that comes in the Sunday paper magazine? Will you marry me, Katie? Oh, look. The photo is of a man named James Grieg, who thought putting himself on the cover of the weekly magazine was the perfect way to ask his girlfriend to marry him.
Wow.
Well, she said yes.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Because we hear about these over-the-top proposals all the time. Was this just a really romantic gesture?
Well, thank you to YouTube and Pinterest. You know, if you don't go big, it's nothing at all. Kind of like when you text and people use too many exclamation points, and if you don't use one, then you're like, what's wrong?
I do that all the time,
So we've overused it. We've watered it down now, these big old proposals. But I love this. How much did he spend to get that on the cover?
He's the first one who's ever done that, and I don't know.
I hope he's the last, because I don't want to be bothered with your happiness. Here's the reality. How many girls looked at this and was like, is my name Kate? Is he asking me? Like, you get confused.
They recognized him.
No, you never know. You never know. I might change my name to Kate.
Dominica, you say you don't like this, but I feel, and we all feel, that you would love to have a big proposal.
Because you're romantic at heart.
You're romantic, and you poo-poo this because I think you just
deep down inside you
want this.
Think it's
special. I want this for you.
No, you want this for me. I don't want that. I don't want that.
But I feel like that's what's happening, though. We're putting all this pressure on the guy to have an over-the-top proposal. And as women who aren't engaged yet, then we start to feel like if we're not going to get that over-the-top proposal, that something's wrong with our proposal. When a proposal is really for two people that are getting engaged. I think it's more special when it's private. You know? I don't know.
I want something that's private. I think that's way too public for me. And I had to stop myself because I used to watch these engagement videos on YouTube, and I would cry with my cats and Doritos. And it was just like, and you keep watching it. No, I would watch it. I was like, no, I really don't want that. I want a private, intimate thing between me and whoever. First of all, I'm a woman of a certain age now, so it ain't like somebody going, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, and crying and trying to jump in.
Yes, you will.
I'm not going to. First of all, if I jump in his arms, I'm probably gonna break his pelvis. So I can't. You know what I mean? Those days of me floating in somebody's arms is done. Just take me out for a Dunkin' Donuts, a coffee, and a ring.
All right, well, we'll see. All right. This next story says it all, that age means nothing, okay? There's a 78-year-old grandfather of two who just came out of retirement, and he is now Australia's oldest intern. He joined a healthcare facility as part of a plan to eventually work full-time in aged care, which is what they call it in Australia. He was a tool maker. He retired 5 years ago, and he realized, you know, I'm talking to my animals at home, my cat and my dogs and everything. They don't talk back. I need to do something. So he got this internship, and I think it's fantastic. He says if you're fit and healthy, go back to work.
It's never too late.
I think too late. It can be too late. First of all, you're 78 years old. You're not an intern. Interns got to be moving fast, picking up stuff and doing it. You're not an intern.
No.
You're just somebody sitting there at 78.
There is someone who has very young interns, there is a downside. Yes, they have energy, and yes, they're like quick to move, but there's experience, there's wisdom, there's passion when somebody's a little bit older.
Okay, well,
Trust me. I'm looking for a 78-year-old intern if anyone knows
if
anyone.
it's passion in his wisdom, you can be passionate in wisdom at home. Here's the reality.
He's working at a facility for the elderly.
Let me just say this to the AARP and the older people. I'm not against you. I'm just talking. Let's talk common sense.
Anyone in his audience over 70 who works or wants to work, there's people in this audience who could do it. I would hire someone of that age.
Absolutely.
Anyone.
I'll give you our phone number, 555, whatever else it is. Okay? I'm just saying, I'm not being an ageist. Let's call it what it is.
What are you being
He's not
then?
an intern at 78. He's
Yeah,
sitting
of
there
course.
doing other things than what interns do.
Interns just don't do that all day. I don't think that is.
The interns right here, they pop and bop. They pop and bop.
They don't just top and bop.
It's not ages. I'm saying at
It's
70. Let me
ages.
tell you what, at 78, what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit at home and I'm going to relax because I've worked for 78 years. I'm just saying I don't want to see him out there going back into the workforce.
That's fine for you, but other people. This is a guy who did retire for 5 years and said, I just want to get back into the world.
No, you don't have to lock me up. I said I don't want them to work. I didn't say I wouldn't have sex with a 78-year-old man. I would totally date him and have sex with him.
Well, folks, 78-year-old Yamanika, you gave out my number. We're giving out her number if you want to have sex with her.